Hello everybody, welcome back to From Rhythm to Algorithm. We continue on what is sensorality. How do we complete sensorality? We find its operative word and we show its direct iteration with its letters. And so completeness is not deficient, right? If you're complete, you're not deficient of anything. Speciality is deficient. Deficiency lacks. Morality is conscientiousness. Association, dissociation. Dissonance dissociates. Right? Literally, if you throw a stun grenade in a room and a loud flash bang goes off, you dissociate, you disorient people. I mean, that's literally dissonance. It's a loud noise. An associate is a peer. To peer is to look. Sensorality is sensoriosity. So now, where does the U go? What I mean is, sensoriosity is curiosity. Right, from curious to curiosity. You drop an O. Why? Sensoriosity is curious. Curiosity is inquisitive. Imposition is intimidating, daunting. I felt cute. I even put two descriptor words together. But again, we're just looking for this operative word that stabilizes sensorality, that completes sensorality. An antonym is an opposite. What is the relationship of synonymity in syllability? Right? Logically, right? We've shown these different things where we go from like sequence to consequence. It's like, what is the exact logical relationship there? We've had other ones where it's like position, disposition. What's exactly the logical relationship there? So syllability, again, what is the syllable? Is that the sound? Is that the groupings of letters? Because again, to be specific, linguistics to me is applying letters to sounds. So syllability, the ability to be a syllable, is more fundamental to the sound itself. How do we separate when you can hear me speaking words right now as opposed to, when I was doing those demonstrations? And so syllability to me is more fundamental to sound as opposed to representing those sounds with letters. So synonymity, again, are words that sound the same, are they logically the same? Because we've shown this iteration of the base words jumping around quite a bit, but we've also shown that language has to differentiate. And so it's like, what is the relationship of a synonym, words that logically mean the same things, and syllability, how those words are represented with letters? Sensorality is anonymity. Anonymous is not special. Speciality is special. Sensorality is anonymous. Special is distinct, sensorality is not. Anonymity is not special. Sensorality is sociality. Sociality is more than one. What is the relationship of sociability and syllability? Who talks the most in a room? Who talks the least in a room? I guess it all depends. What is the relationship of sensibility and syllability? Right? I say less swear words when I'm around my parents. I don't talk about work when I'm around people that don't like to talk about work, or building a business, or whatever. When and where, like, there's a time and place. What context do you say certain words? And most generally, sensibility. People say, "Oh, you offended my sensibilities." So how does syllability relate to sensibility? Speciality is surreal. Feeling special feels surreal. Entirety is complete. Entirety, simultaneity. Sensorality is syllabilicality. Syllability is syllabilicality. Right, syllabilic. Or syllabic. Right, sensorality is syllabilicality. So again, I had to expand that because I actually got that out of in book club we're reading from Behind the Beautiful Forevers. She uses, again, with the wrong form of the word, but the correct base, and I'm able to expand it out. And so she wrote syllabic, right? It's syllabilic is what she meant. But we expanded it out, we got there. Sensorality is syllabilicality. How do syllables cycle? We have a set amount of sounds we can make. We have an infinite amount of physical processes we have to describe, different emergencies. Again, emergencies being properties that emerge from a base. Vibration is the physical base. So how do syllables cycle? And that's what we're demonstrating, right? We're reducing this proof. We're showing how we're demonstrating. Demonstration by derivation to complete proof of an axiom, of a fundamental physical process. Is iteration cyclical? Again, just trying to pose all of these questions. There's clear intuition; those are open questions, and we're trying to arrive at this, definitive statement for sensorality. Sensorality encompassing all of sensation. Right? What is an algorithm? What is metabolism? It encompasses all of these things. Sensorality is forceful. Sensorality is sourceful. Forceful to sourceful. Last time we talked, full is flush. Full. So what do we have when we have full as a suffix with one L, right? Like we can start asking these more basic questions just about forms of words. Sensorality optimizes. Is maximal optimal? Right? What establishes what is optimality? Right? Is it optimal to maximize all of the time? Demonstrably no. Right? You need to eat. You need to sleep. If you're working really hard, you need to take a break. So to optimize something, it's not to go at maximal all of the time. It's dynamic. We have our bounds in generality, in complete generality. The bounding of anything is a minimum and a maximum. It's that simple. And it's some dynamic between a minimum and a maximum in which you get optimality, in which you maximize efficiency. And how do we do that? With rhythm. Adjectives, right now, so now here's a big theorem. Again, this is because we're deriving the structure of language. And we've made huge progress, obviously. But now we've finally derived adjectives describe nouns, right? A thing is a noun. Ing, thing, string. Nouns represent things. Nouns represent strings. But really, again, you want to pair it to thing. All right, you can't have an adjective if you don't have a noun. You can't have a range if you don't have a base. You can't describe something if you don't have something to describe. Adjectives describe nouns. Then we have the words noun, thing, and object, right? An object is a thing, an object is a noun, or nouns represent objects, obviously. Because remember, none of these things are like big breakthroughs. We've already done, once we've iterated the physical, the fundamentals of physics, which was, the past, 150 parts. We're just right back to words have meaning. We're just going to describe, and we're going to have this complete proof theorem. And you can be like, oh yeah, go look at these other cute little videos and say, holy shit, that's the derivation of the axiomatization of physics. And it is. But you can't tell anybody that because you guys don't even know how to begin to do mathematics. And so, but we have, that's like the renormalization, our most comprehensive, our fundamental theorem. Adjectives describe nouns. Sensorality is, right, and so it's like sensorality, sentient life, describes sensorality with a C. See how we kind of gotten away from those words, but they're still, the intuition and those definitions are still right there. Because that's what we're doing, right? I'm a human being sitting here describing how the world works, which is inanimate objects, which includes other animate objects, people. And we've just shown from motion to emotion, the consistency of the language. And so sensorality is adjectivality. And again, we can just keep doing that process. But it always renormalizes to something very simple in the forms of the words that you know, right? Motion or work requires movement, stuff like that. But that's a bad one. I don't even like that one. I don't know why I said that. Sensorality is a subset of sensorality, right? Life is a subset. Mass that is animate, that lives, is a subset of mass that exists. Because again, trying to get this conceptualization of what goes where, and then the answer will just be apparent. And the answer is already apparent, right? Any scientific truth is completely obvious in retrospect. And I know science team already has the stabilizing theorem, and I'm just on a personal level trying to, again, put all of these ideas in one little theorem, and it will derive sensorality, and we'll be done. And it'll give us the next form of the next word. Directions are dual. Direction, dimension. Maturity limits hypocrisy. Right? All behavior is this process of what you think in your head becoming synchronous with how you actually behave. Actions speak louder than words. Oh, I've been saying the same shit for 32 fucking years. Maturity limits hypocrisy. Spacing differentiates, right? Everything is discontinuous. And we had every space thing. Spacing differentiates. Speciality is why. Sensorality is how. And so now you can you see the linguistical pairing on that? Speciality doesn't have an O in it. Sensorality does have an O in how. And so what question word in the English language is demonstrably linguistically different than the other ones? where, what, when, why, how. So now we've paired up the O of how to the O of sensorality. And so spacing differentiates, speciality is why, sensorality is how. Right? Because our axiomatized definition for speciality, the natural tendency to differentiate for sexual antagonism in its completeness, then all the way down to differ, and now, but again, it's all of these definitions, they're all related. So we have to show this differentiation of speciality, sensorality, that contains both the sensorality of inanimate objects. You put a quarter in a machine and it sorts the quarter, whether it's a dime, nickel, or quarter, and me choosing to do what I do with my day, or what do I eat for breakfast, stuff like that. So that is where we are at. Thank you for watching. Again, my rights continue to be violated. I am owed a tremendous amount of money. I live under profound scientific or financial stress because of it, and I'm simply asking for enough money to feel safe, comfortable, eat, sleep, and work. Thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next one.